What's up, guys? Welcome back to Viewer Castles. Today we're going to start off with Rob Xnix. Castle level to 25. Let's jump into it and see what he's got. Alright, so a couple Cyclopses. The lower level Cyclopses are shut down pretty easily with bear traps. You know, this is before they get up to like level 28 is what I'm talking about. Level 28, it's still a little bit difficult to, like, in certain circumstances, put down bear traps and back away far enough because their range is so much longer. Not that they're a bad unit. I still think it's that and the charging Cyclops is the only real way to use Cyclopses. So here you can notice your Snouter was so far out towards me that I was able to just auto-attack it to bring the entire group over your spike trap, whereas I think what you want to go for more so is to have me jump over it, aggro the group, and then see a Jimbo that's, you know, trying to swing at me, and then run back over the spike trap and take more damage. So you might want to try to fix the positioning of that a little bit so that I can't pull it over the spike trap as easily. Alright, I'm pulling both groups, kind of accidentally, but it's no big deal. We have two IMAXs, so it's kind of the same group over, like two of the same groups. IMAXs, personally, I don't really like, just because I think that they're better. I mean, you don't have level 28, what do you call them, Stairmasters yet, so this is the only real way that you can use this specialization, which, that part I can see justifying using IMAXs, but as you get up to those higher levels, I think that having, you know, two Stairmasters is just as good as having an IMAX. The damage isn't that different. The IMAX's resistances are pretty low, and their hit points are pretty low for being a 14 hit point or a 14 defense point unit. All right, let's continue on. All right, so there's some stuff over here. I can see the Scorpio right here. He's defended. So I'm just going to drop, actually I can just auto-attack him and bring the group to me. And I'm going to try to make it so that he can't pull me on top of the spike trap, which is, I mean, good for you. It's a good setup like that, in that sense. Drop a volley so that that dies, and just kind of get out of the way. So one thing is that you have your Puppeteer on Enrage, and basically what its AI does is whatever unit is closest to the hero, that's the unit that it will enrage. And a lot of the times it'll even enrage it if it's dead already. It'll enrage the corpse. Which is a little bit frustrating. It's kind of hard to make enrage work. When you get up to the next tier, so tier 7 Puppeteers, the area of effect will be so big that it won't matter as much to use that, because it'll hit like multiple units, because it's just so ridiculously big. But in this circumstance, you notice that I killed the Defendatron, and he tried to enrage the Defendatron as it was dying, so it didn't work quite the way you wanted it to. There's some circumstances where it could work, but... Alright. So that Zeke, I would say, is a little bit too out in the open. If I noticed him earlier, I could have just went over here and taken a headshot. But yeah, he's definitely out in the open for not having a Defendatron guarding him, I would say. Alright, I think I kind of want to drop a volley in this, but we'll see. The Cyclops actually got stuck here. I don't know if that's a common thing that happens in your castle, but, you know, that's obviously not what you want to happen, because I can just engage the Puppeteer and then engage this next group, and then engage the Cyclops by itself. I would prefer, rather than a Crab, to have a Defendatron guarding your Zeke. I think that it tanks for it a lot better. Because in this circumstances, I could, you know, line up a shot hitting the Crab and the Zeke and do even more damage because I have a piercing weapon like this. And probably kill it. I would kill it in probably one shot, but most people would probably kill it in like 2 or 3. Alright, we have a Pete Poundmore that's, again, I would say he's very much out in the open. Pete Poundmores can get chunked, their life can get chunked really, really easily by archers at almost every level. They're an okay unit. They do decent DPS if they can get like up on top of somebody. But like I'm gonna one-shot him. Other people might take him down to like half life. You don't want someone to initiate on your elite and take him down to half life. Like, that's just too much damage. So what I would do is put like a Snotter where you had this guy, move him back somewhere, or if you don't want to use a Snotter, at least put him behind a wall so he can't just be headshotted as easily. You know, put him over here so that as soon as I walk into the room, I pull him, or I have to initiate with a volley or something. I mean, it's at least a little bit better than headshotting him. Alright. So this Jimbo, obviously he could do a ton of damage if he hit me. I think that's pretty good. I'm wondering if maybe this mouse wheel trap could be replaced with something on the end of this, like a spike trap or something. So I come in here and I have a smaller area to fight the Jimbo in, maybe. I don't know, something to think about. Alright, these are the teleport guys. One thing that I think I've learned about these guys is if they don't get within a certain range of you, they won't teleport. So what I think I can do is drop a volley and then pull back, and I think they'll just walk through the volley and I'll die. So basically that's something that you have to keep in mind. Like, they're so out in the open that they'll be really good against a knight, but against an archer, if they do that exact trick, they might not kill all of them if they're your level, but they'll at least damage them quite a bit. Alright, we have a Mega Mutton with a Hunger Bot. I'm a little over-leveled, so obviously I killed that a lot easier than other people will. I think this is a pretty decent setup, though. You have the guy on snare. I think that's okay. Yeah, I think that's all just fine. Alright, and then we have Robo Shieldatron, who is guarding. No, he has an AoE. I guess that's alright. I don't know. It blocks off from a volley, which is kind of devastating at your level, especially against pretty much every unit that you have here, so I guess that's kind of what you're going for. So, I mean, I think it's alright. But if you time it out well enough, I could still, you know, drop a volley in between his AoE and be able to take out almost everything. It's not bad. I mean, you can think about putting him just guarding the Zeke so that there's no damage done to that, or you could think about doing what you did here. And then you have two puppeteers who are going to be enraging that. So yeah, not too bad. I think your elites overall have just been in kind of bad spots. They need to have more spotting for them, or they need to be placed better so that you can't initiate however you want to on them. I can't, you know, volley what I want to volley, or headshot what I want to headshot, or use bear traps or anything like that. You really want to try to surprise them with elites, or at least have them behind walls so that they can't initiate on it without getting close enough to the elite where it puts them in kind of like a bad spot, you know? So we'll jump into number 2 in just a second. Alright, next up we have Sir Shmoopy. Castle level is a 32, so I'll have to be a little bit careful in this castle. I'm not sure if I played this recently. I don't know if he was in the competition or not. I think he was, but I'm not 100% sure. So we'll just go through it again and see what he's got. It looks like this is obviously going to be a pull from over here. So I'm going to wait around for a little bit just to see what it is. It's going to be a Mr. Boom Boom. I'm going to pull 2 groups because of that. And then I'm going to pull back even farther, outside of the trap range and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with a Mr. Boom Boom. Like, there's no reason not to use it, I think, at this point. They have the potential to do really good damage. And it looks like there's actually 2 of them from the rate of these Splodies coming out. But yeah, they're kind of like Scorpios used to be. There's no reason not to use them. And it's more about how annoying you really want to make your castle. There's going to be people that do like all Mr. Boom Boom castles. Possibly you want to have a group in between them so that like they're more annoying with their range. Because if you have a lot of them and you can get up on top of them, they're not a big deal. Or as a big deal, I would say. Like this circumstance where I have to engage these little Splody things while engaging this IMAX, if that was the case. Obviously he's coming forward, so I'm going to just wait to kill him. That would be annoying though. More annoying than if I was just engaging 2 of these guys or something by themselves. Because they're not really difficult to kill when you have them isolated like this. But they're more difficult to kill, you know, when you are dealing with other things and you have to worry about taking 1,000 damage or even 150 auto attack damage from their summoned units. So I feel like there's a trap missing here. Maybe it's just because it's back here. Let's see, what do you have? See, I'm wondering if maybe you could have this trap over a little bit more in this area. and then have another trap up here where I would be fighting this this guy. I don't know. You do have some traps in here. I just think they might be like this one here. What is this really going to do for you, right? You have this one trap here, but what am I ever going to engage that's going to be in this zone up here? Everything's pulled through the wall down to here, and this guy is going to be pulled into this area. So you might want to rethink the traps in this room and see what you can do to maybe get a little bit more out of them. Alright. Another Mr. Boom Boom. So we've already had 3 of those. Let's see if he kind of follows the 3 elite rule that a lot of people have been going with up at the top of level 32, you know? It's definitely kind of like makes castles at least a little bit more interesting for the attacker, I would say. Having no more than 3 of any elite type, so 3 Mr. Boom Booms or 3 Scorpios or 3 Mega Muttons or anything like that. Explodifiers and Mr. Boom Booms kind of make castles a little bit boring to play, I would say. They're the one unit that is just a little bit too boring. But they're kind of necessary at this point as well. I think Explodifiers to a lesser extent, but I think you should always have 3 of these guys in your castle. Just because I think they're the best unit, pretty much in the game. Just because they're so tanky and so obnoxious to deal with in a lot of circumstances. Alright, wait around for this. So this is a Defendatron. I think you just placed this Defendatron in order to, when this Mr. Boom Boom was walking around here, you wanted him to have a shield up to like this point, which I think is okay. It's only 5 points. I actually should do that with my extra points, to be honest. I have a little bit of extra points as well. Where does your castle actually go? Interesting, okay. I've seen rooms like this before. It's pretty good. That Cyclops is a little bit more in the open than than I would normally be used to. I mean, I didn't really have to go over the entire spike trap to kind of get the aggro. Well, I've seen a lot of people use bashing Scorpios and bashing Hungerbots in these rooms, and just go for a bash you like on top of the spike trap, and that can do a ton of damage. Like, it's a surprising amount. We'll just kind of keep going. Yeah, that exact thing actually. And as you can see, I mean, I'm down to where I need to use a potion just from that. I might have been a little low life as well, but and then a Zeke on top of it, that would just kill you. If I got knocked down right now, like before the Zeke was dead, I would have died. Now it's not as big of a deal. It's a little annoying because you keep getting knocked down, and there's not really a lot of space to maneuver in this room when you have this 4 spike trap set up. So I think it's a pretty cool little setup and room that I've seen used before. So obviously I can see that there's a Hungerbot and it looks like a Zeke over there. I'm going to see if I can pull it. Most likely I can. So for people who check for this, it's going to be a little bit easier than for people who just kind of go over the spike trap, vault over it, and then realize that there's something that maybe they're going to vault over it. I'm guessing if you did vault over this, you'd get hit by this Hungerbot and land onto this with a couple Zeke shots and you'd just be dead. So it's a good setup for sure. It's kind of a kill zone that you... Okay, this is even better. I like your castle so far, to be honest. I like these spike traps plus like small quarters that you have to fight in. Oh wow, somehow I pulled 2 groups as well. I gotta... As I smash my keyboard to use a potion. Alright. Let's see if I can stay alive during this. I don't think I'm going to be able to be honest. But we're going to try. Yeah, I'm going to die. That was close, kind of. But definitely like how this is set up. This like close quarter combat that has a bunch of spike traps around it is really good. It's really effective. This is exactly what I mean by sustained damage, though, for sure. And yeah, I definitely have not run your castle before because I don't remember this. I think I would have. Or at least not recently. I've ran it for viewer castle, as I'm reasonably sure. Alright, that could be annoying. Alright. So yeah, this is good as well. Same basic principle with the Scorpio bashing you onto the spike trap and then extra damage being taken. I've fallen for a setup very similar to this with a charging Cyclops and a Zeke, and I've like vaulted over this and just gotten killed numerous times by it. I've gotten pretty good about checking for that exact setup though, with like the same room and everything. All right, two Crushulators. Personally, not my favorite unit. I did get you know, the debuff here, so I'm taking a little bit more damage, and that stupid healer is going to be super annoying. I mean, they're actually doing reasonable damage. I should be bear trapping, to be honest. That's the biggest thing that I haven't done, because that way I can keep them off of me for a while I slowly kill them. They do have a lot of life, but that's really the only thing that they have. Not really my favorite unit, but it's okay. I mean, if you want to use them, I'm not going to say that they're like that bad. There's worse units, I think, like Smelly Warriors. Alright, let's see. Does that even pull anything? It looks like no. Where's that Countess? Somewhere around in here. I'm going to just drop a volley down there, see if I can pull it. Yep. Oh my god, that missed. Looks like your second Countess comes a little bit too late. I don't know where it pulled from, but definitely too far, I would say. The battle with the first one was almost over before it showed up. Unless that's how you want it to play out, I'm not 100% sure. Alright. Alright, then we have the boss room. See if I can get an angle on this Defendatron. It looks like I can right here. Then I'll just drop a volley, because why not? Hopefully that'll go through it. It did for like 1 or 2 ticks of damage, not a ton. You can attack Defendatrons through the Robo-Shieldatron aura, I think all the time, regardless. So I mean, this isn't doing as much as you necessarily would like it to do, because you have a lot of Defendatrons here. And this aura isn't really helping out that much. I'm pretty sure you can attack a Defendatron when the Robo-Shieldatron's aura's up. So, even if it's not defending the Robo-Shieldatron itself. Alright. But yeah, pretty good castle. I really like the spike trap setup and stuff that killed me. So, we will go into number 3 in just a second. Alright, and lastly we have DarkestSilence, castle level 24. I'm going to run through it really quickly because I still haven't slept. It's the same as the previous day's episode. I'm recording it. It's about 9 AM and I'm pretty tired. Alright, so Scorpio pulls you on top of the spike trap, possibly. That's really good. I like it. The Zeke with the over-the-head smashing Cyclops isn't obviously not as good as the charging one. It's still okay, but you can maneuver around it like about as easily. Like if you get knocked over, you're still going to take an arrow, just about the same as a charging Cyclops. I think the charge really gets better at level 28, to be honest, because it's for much longer. I mean, for the utility, it depends on what you're going for. I can volley that, I think. Like I've kind of talked about IMXs before, I don't really like the resistances. If you want to use this specific displacement aura thing, it's the only thing you can use until level 28. So I understand the reason why why you're using it, but I think at level 28 it's definitely better to just have 2 Stairmasters with Defendatrons, because I think they're just better overall. Alright. This is set up reasonably well. I didn't really talk about it before I engaged it, but basically I didn't really have any angles that I was able to hit the Pete Poundmore. I could have volleyed the entire thing and done a little bit of damage to him, but it's set up reasonably well. This one, not so much. Obviously, any archer that sees this is going to headshot the Zeke and probably kill it. Alright, continuing on. See what this pulls through the wall over here. At least a dampener, obviously there's going to be something more with it. I'll wait around for it for a second. Really long pull. Alright, so Cyclops dampener. No. IMAX dampener. Cyclops is behind it in a different group. Alright. So Cyclops right here, yep. So this is a better situation to use this specific group in. There's less space to maneuver around, so it would force a lot of people back over the spike trap, which is good. That's set up well. That almost hit me. I was actually going for a headshot on the Hungerbot, so I was expecting the Hungerbot to like miss me because it was dead. I think that happened, so I'm not 100% sure. Instead I hit the Mega Mutton. But yeah, your level Mega Muttons are still really good, so... Obviously I'm one-shotting them because I'm high level, but they're still good. You can chunk them down to like half health or so at your level if the person has high enough DPS. I think I pulled 2 groups just by entering this room, but... It's not the scariest room ever. Mainly because you have a lot of space to maneuver. The IMAX itself is pretty weak. He does have a Defendertron, it looks like. So that makes him a little bit more tanky, so he'll stay alive for longer. But obviously, in this circumstance, if you had it, I would like 2 Defendertron, or 2 Stairmasters instead. You don't have level 28, so I understand why you're using this, like I said before. But I still, I mean, he goes down pretty quickly. His health and his resistances just aren't high enough for a 14-point unit, in my opinion. Alright. That might hurt. Okay. If I didn't kill that Cyclops, I probably could have died right there. This is another scary setup where you have to take extra ticks of spike trap damage, unless someone wants to roll into this room, and then they have a decent amount of space to maneuver around before they go into the next group. Alright, is this actually pulling anything? It looks like you have a couple fakes in here. Actually, no, there actually was a pull, it was just really long. Not sure where it came from, to be honest. I guess on the other side of this wall somewhere? Yeah, it was a really long pull through the corner here. Alright. Possibly a fake snotter, I'm not 100% sure. It looked like that one was, though. Alright, then you have another IMAX here. I think this is definitely too big of a room to use an IMAX in unless you have a ton of mines. So, like, if you're not using your mines for anything very specific, I would just load them up inside of this room because you have to lessen the space if you're going to use an IMAX here. Like, there's just too much room to maneuver around to really use it effectively. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. So yeah, this is number 3, so we'll end the video here, and I will go to sleep afterwards. If you guys enjoy what I do, please subscribe. If you want to be a part of ViewerCast, you can email me at frenzycastleruns@hotmail.com. And, you know, give me your in-game name, and I will get to your castle whenever I have time. You can check the description of the video for a link to a spreadsheet that shows pretty much everyone who is on the list to be recorded. It takes me a couple days to update the list sometimes, but you know, I'm still a little bit backed up, but I'm getting there. I should be at least reasonably caught up by the end of the week, so that should be good. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.